At 54 qubits, they opened a molecule, and they could measure it here, observing it in like Silicon Valley or wherever this is. And then they opened the same one. It appeared in London, and they verified that the changes they made in Silicon Valley were happening it's the same molecule, and it was happening at the same time someplace else.
What?
In a quiet lab, hidden away from public view, something extraordinary just happened. Something that could change everything we thought we knew about reality. A recent quantum computing experiment may have just provided the first real evidence of a parallel universe. That's right. What was once science fiction might now be science fact. Researchers from CERN and Google's Quantum AI lab have detected an anomaly so bizarre that it's left the scientific world stunned. And if this holds up under scrutiny, it could rewrite the very rules of physics. For decades, physicists have speculated about the existence of parallel realities, hidden dimensions that branch off from our own, where alternate versions of events, people, and even entire universes exist. But until now, this theory has remained purely hypothetical. That may no longer be the case. A new quantum experiment has just recorded something never seen before, an anomaly that defies known physics. Some scientists believe this could be the first tangible sign of information crossing between dimensions. If true, this could be the beginning of a whole new chapter in our understanding of the universe. But before we reveal exactly what was discovered, let's take a step back. Why is quantum computing at the center of all this? And how could it possibly detect something as wild as a parallel universe? Quantum computers, windows into the multiverse? Quantum mechanics, the science of the ultra-small, has always hinted at a reality far stranger than we can imagine. At the heart of quantum theory lies the many worlds interpretation, which proposes that every quantum event splits the universe into multiple versions of itself. According to this idea, every time a particle makes a decision, so to speak, a new universe is born, playing out the alternative outcome. Think about that. Every choice, every possibility, every fork in the road, all of them could exist simultaneously in countless parallel worlds. And now, some believe that quantum computers, machines designed to exploit quantum mechanics itself, might be powerful enough to detect signs of those alternate realities. Let's break down three key phenomena in quantum physics that make this possible: superposition, quantum tunneling, and entanglement. Superposition allows quantum bits, or qubits, to exist in multiple states at once. In classical computing, a bit can be either 0 or 1. But in quantum computing, qubits can be both at the same time. This unlocks a vast landscape of computational possibilities, and maybe even glimpses into other realities. Quantum tunneling is when particles appear to vanish from one side of a barrier and reappear on the other, as if the wall wasn't there at all. It's as if particles can borrow energy from another world to get through. And then there's entanglement, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. When two particles become entangled, their states remain linked no matter how far apart they are. Change one, and the other reacts instantly, even across galaxies. These phenomena defy classical logic, but they're real, and they're central to the recent experiment that might have just exposed a crack in our reality. The parallel universe shifter, anomaly. During a routine quantum gate experiment, researchers noticed something completely unexpected. Instead of behaving in line with predicted outcomes, certain quantum states began to fluctuate erratically. At first, the team assumed it was a glitch, a hardware issue, or background noise. But when they ran the tests again, and again, and again, the anomaly didn't go away. It wasn't random, it followed a pattern. That's when everything changed. This pattern wasn't consistent with known quantum errors. It wasn't caused by temperature shifts, electromagnetic interference, or calibration problems. The data suggested that information was entering the system from an unknown source, almost as if something outside the experiment was influencing the quantum states. Some scientists are now calling it the parallel universe shifter, a potential point of contact between our reality and another. If true, this would be the first recorded instance of quantum interference from another universe, a moment when the barrier between dimensions may have briefly weakened, just enough for something to slip through. Could we be experiencing these shifts already? This leads to an even deeper, stranger question. What if we've already been experiencing these shifts between realities, without even realizing it? Some theorists have linked this idea to the Mandela Effect, a phenomenon where large groups of people remember events differently from how they actually occurred. Examples include the Berenstain Bears as Berenstain Bears, or misquoted movie lines like, "Luke, I am your father." Are these just misremembered facts? Or could they be signs that our consciousness sometimes hops between similar but slightly different realities? It sounds wild, but if quantum computers are beginning to detect information leakage between dimensions, the idea becomes at least worth considering. Could our memories be occasionally updated by fluctuations in reality itself? Of course, this is still speculative, but the fact that real quantum systems are picking up unexplained patterns opens the door to new possibilities, ones that scientists are only now beginning to explore. The predictions that came true. Interestingly, this isn't coming out of nowhere. For years, renowned physicist Brian Cox has speculated that quantum computers could be the first tools to detect parallel universes. He argued that if the many worlds interpretation is correct, then anomalies should eventually emerge in quantum systems. According to Cox, quantum computers might act like sensitive antennas, tuned not just to the quantum world, but to the subtle tremors caused by overlapping realities. And now, that prediction might be coming true. Cox and other physicists have long pointed to entanglement and superposition as clues that reality is not as fixed as we think. If particles can exist in multiple states and respond instantly across space, then why not across universes? The recent experiment aligns almost perfectly with these ideas. A repeatable pattern, unexplainable by standard models, reacting as if affected by something beyond this dimension. It's exactly what Cox predicted we might find if other universes were real. What happens next? Now the scientific world is buzzing with questions. Was this anomaly a one-time fluke, or is it something that can be reproduced? If it's repeatable, it could mark the start of a new era in physics, one in which parallel universes are no longer just theory, but measurable reality. Already labs across the globe are working to replicate the anomaly, using different quantum systems and setups. The goal? To see if the same leakage of information occurs again, and whether it follows the same mysterious pattern. If researchers can confirm that this wasn't just a random blip, then we may have taken the first step toward proving the multiverse exists. But that also raises another mind-bending question. Could we one day shift between realities? Right now, our control over quantum systems is still extremely limited. Quantum computers are incredibly powerful in theory, but they're also incredibly delicate, vulnerable to even the smallest disturbances. But what if, in the near future, we develop systems sophisticated enough not just to detect interdimensional anomalies, but to influence them? Some physicists believe that if we can understand the rules governing these interactions, we may be able to intentionally manipulate the quantum pathways between dimensions. Imagine programming a quantum computer not just to calculate solutions, but to tune into alternate timelines, to observe how reality plays out across the multiverse, to one day even transfer data, or possibly more, between worlds. It sounds like science fiction, but it's a possibility that scientists are beginning to take seriously. And perhaps the most profound idea of all is this. If quantum computers can pick up information from other universes, then reality may not be a closed system. We may be living in a universe that is part of a much larger, interconnected multiverse, where boundaries are fluid and where our actions could ripple across dimensions. Final thoughts. We're still in the early days of this discovery. Scientists are being cautious, running tests, eliminating variables, and analyzing every detail of the data. But the implications are enormous. If this experiment holds up, and if it truly points to interaction with a parallel universe, then we may be standing at the edge of the next great scientific revolution, one that doesn't just change how we compute, but how we understand space, time, and existence itself. So the next time you feel like something is off, like a memory doesn't quite match reality, remember, it might not be your imagination. It might just be quantum physics, reminding us that the universe is stranger than we ever dared to believe. Like Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want more deep dive stories into the mysteries of science, consciousness, and the cosmos. What do you think? Was this a glimpse into a parallel universe or just a misunderstood glitch? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're just getting started.